judging me.
Are you ready for start time?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
Jus Jase
in the house tonight, and they just got back from World Tour, and I think they got something they want to say.
You now listen to the sound.
Mic check 1 2. What is this?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to it. It's the Mic Drop Sessions. Yours truly, Jus Jase in the building, TNT's most dangerous DJ. And of course, we're here live on my YouTube page at Jus Jase 868. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share, click that bell, notifications, so you'll know exactly when we have new podcasts in the mix. And of course, what we do with this podcast is showcase the legends, the greats, the giants, the icons, people who make the whole TNT movement of DJs and radio make sense. That's the platform that's set for today. And of course, I have with me an integral part of making me who I am. I know I say that about most of the guests that I have on the podcast, but in the midst of this particular podcast, you'll understand why I say that. This guy, we call him the mad scientist. When I first met him, he was just behind the boards with the glasses, doing his thing and making magic come out the speakers. All right. I met him as Lyndon. Other folks know him as XTC. We will get into that. Other people know him as Razorshop. Other people call him simply STONEZ because of his original government name. Ladies and gentlemen, my brethren, the one and only Lyndon Livingston, the man himself, Razorshop in the building!
Go on.
Ahmed, partner, was he good?
Good. Form for life, you know.
Well, first things first, cheers to you. I mean, we're doing it. We're here to tell the story. All right. Salute, my brother. A journey of all journeys from the Razorshop. Now, folks, probably watching this and probably wondering, well, who is Razorshop? I'm going to play something for you that you probably never knew that it was Razorshop. And the kicksy part about this is my boy never got a cent for this. Check this out.
Everybody take a jump right now. That's a waste
Yep.
now.
Yep.
That's a wind up now because
It's carnival. Hold on. Let that linger. Let it linger. All right. So, Lyndon, that particular remix, right? A lot of folks probably didn't even know that was your mind coming into music. You know what I mean? Tell me more about that particular remix before we get into actually the road mix phenomenon.
Well, that mix was real. I don't know how that mix came together. It was because I was playing on the roads for Trinidad band Hearts.
Yeah.
And we were just home that night, and I was like, yo, I want to play the song tomorrow for the road, but I want to just do something slightly different. Yeah. So a couple of days before I called my partner, the original producer, that's Terrence James.
Hey, Terry.
Terrence James, yeah. I mean, you can't have a good remix without a good song. Right?
Correct,
So,
correct.
Terrence, all respect to Terrence James.
Yeah.
And Terrence, he gave me the instrumental. He gave me the a cappella separate split. It was Destra separate one way, Marshall separate one way.
Right.
And that was it. Right. That's all I had for that mix.
In one night.
Yeah, one night, for a couple hours. A couple hours.
You see what I say, easy mad scientist people, one night.
No, it was a flow. It was just something like I had a friend of mine from Canada, Colin, Soca Vibes. He was there, and I was sitting on the edge of my bed, right, on a little iMac. And back in those days, it was Pro Tools free, right? So that was it. And had these couple stems, but not stems, but instrumental.
Yeah.
And he was just irking me on, yo, add a little something. Do this, do that. Yeah. And he would just go outside, lab and come back. You didn't reach this? Do this now, do that. And after a while, everything just started flowing. It was like, yo, I could do this, I could extend this part, I could add a little drama here, throw a little boom effect here, a little reverse.
Right.
Like, it started to flow, and within a couple of hours, it made sense.
Did you think after that night that particular road mix would become what it is today? This is what you call a must-play staple in a soca set or a soca fet.
No idea, like none. What I did know is on the road, the next day,
madness.
Mayhem.
Wow.
Madness.
Wow.
It was crazy. Hearts that mash up the stage with that.
Salute to the Hearts Foundation, man. The Hearts crew. Salute. Stone, do you think you invented the road mix?
It depends.
Okay.
Right? It really depends.
Bring it up.
Because there were people before me who did versions or remake of a version for the road.
Mm-hmm.
But like what I did, I took the original song and edited and add additional production to it specifically for the road crossing. Because remember before and back in those days, you crossing the stage used to take a while.
A while, yep, a long while. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, half an hour,
yeah.
45 minutes, you're still going across and everybody's trying to get you across the stage.
Yes, yes.
So you have to keep looping that song over and over, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And after a while, I mean, you want something more.
Right.
So, and that was the beginning of the whole thing that you really needed to start doing that. But at that time, nobody was really doing that. Nobody was taking stems or appella specifically of a previous song and just reinventing it. And nobody was really doing that. People, I think, like Beaver Henderson was doing.
Big up Carl Beaver Henderson. Loot.
Yes, and a couple other people. Beaver was doing things like drum machines and doing samples on top of like hits.
Yeah,
right? But not like in a whole song. Like totally remixed.
Orchestration and that type of stuff. Yeah.
No, not that kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can say. Okay, if you want to say I invented the road mix.
All right, so as of today, right, Johnny, this is our mic drop sessions moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Lord.
We have now dubbed Razorshop the inventor of the road mix. That yours. Take it. That is yours. All right, that is yours. All right, this is the part I want to get into. We're going to go from exactly where you are right now, and we want to go back to the genesis of Lyndon. This is before it became a Razorshop wasn't even in existence as yet. We're talking about Lyndon. I mean, what was your start? I know you started off with not really started off, but you ended up doing the DJ thing, then more into the production thing. Tell me more or less, how did the music scene start for you? How it all began, who your influences, that type of thing.
The music thing started for me like way back, because I got my roots working inside Reiner's record shop.
Reiner's Records.
Reiner's record shop, Trinidad's first record shop in the country.
Wow.
Like everybody had to go through Reiner's record shop.
Yes, yeah, I remember as a child.
All the DJs.
I used to go Reiner's and I used to go next door by Ibrahim's.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. And then later on, I had a couple of places open up later.
Yeah.
But that was the place, and I used to work there since I was 9 or 10.
Wow.
After school, go across there, work on weekends, work on like some holidays, that kind of thing. And so I used to have a lot of records. Like I used to buy a lot of records because that was my joy, buying records. And I used to tape, like cassettes, pausing. Back in the day, of course, you would know me from back in those days.
Right.
So the genesis of where it started really started with me experimenting on my friends. So my school friends from QRC would come across and say, "Hey, Stone, I hear you have a record. Could you do a little tape for me?"
Right.
And then they would find out I would do like the whole tape with these 3 songs. And then cut up and add samples and pause. And it's not what they wanted, but everybody, I think some of those guys still have some of those cuts.
Some of those tapes, right.
Some of those tapes, yeah. But that's how the whole me getting into the business of recording.
Right.
And that led to, of course, the DJing, because you have to have these records and play them. So, at the same time, it was the birth of hip hop. It was the birth of scratching.
Right.
That was the thing I wanted to be, Jazzy Jeff.
Right.
Yes,
Jeff is the influence.
Yeah, I think we all grew up around the same time.
Yeah.
And so those guys bust like about 2 years before, when scratching and everything now came on the scene.
Yeah.
And those were the influences, like of course Grandmaster, Flash, Grandmaster,
Melly Mel,
those guys. I actually had a turntable for Grandmaster Flash, which Grandmaster Flash used when he came to Trinidad. Yeah, right.
Serious?
It was bought from Brian Regis. Brian Regis took the
Salute to Brian.
again, yes, learned from a whole heap of guys like
Right,
Brian and all
right.
these guys. But yeah, I had turntables and pausing stuff, cutting stuff in and out, and then later 4-track.
All right, pause on the 4-track. The reason why I say pause is because I have a couple of things to get into. We're going to go into my take on how I was introduced to you. All right. It's a wonderful story. All right. It all goes from when I repeated my 5th form high school year at El Dorado Senior Comprehensive. I left QRC, went to El Dorado Senior Comprehensive. Now, of course, back in QRC, everybody knew I was the rap man. I was the man battling in the corridors, all them kind of madness. All right. If you want to hear more about that, go into the Franco episode. We went into depth with that. All right. But then I went over to El Dorado Senior Comprehensive to repeat 5th form. And I took that same rap aura with me there. And I started doing the same thing. Lunchtime, I was just in the auditorium when the hallways rapping. I saw 2 men chanting. I come in the scene, take them out. You know what I mean? I was battling real men, taking out MCs left, right, and center. And then there was this short dude that stepped to me and was like, yo, you bad. And he happened to be Enrique Depredine, otherwise known as K, which I later on dubbed DJ Cool K. Salute to K. He ended up being AK from Getorians, right? Yeah. So K was like, yo, you gotta come by me in Trinity and I have 2 turntables and then we could try and practice and come together and do a little form of group. So no problem. So we went across. I went to his house in Castleton. We started practicing. He had the turntables and then. Remember, I was not a DJ in them days. Never thought about touching turntable. I was an MC, spitting hard. And we formed a group called the Awesome Force. We won various competitions, that type of thing. And then one day in school, he comes to me and says, yo, we had to go by a man in Montague in City. I say, who we going by? Dory, you go meet him with a dude named Lyndon. I say, all right, cool. So after school, we tread across to Montague in City. This is about 5 o'clock. Bam. We meet this guy, glasses. The man have long jerry curl all down to his back.
The pictures, man. I got the pictures.
Looking like ready for the world.
Jesse Johnson, actually. Right? Jesse Johnson was the guy who I used to look for. Jesse Johnson was. Give it up to Jesse Johnson was.
Right? And I was introduced to you. Like, yo, Jace, this is Lyndon. Lyndon's Jace. Jace, this is the dude I was telling you about. So I don't know what Kerr said to you about me, right? But I'll come to you to that shortly. But I want to go to my first visual aid and show people what was the first thing that I saw, all right? I walked into Lyndon's bedroom, which was more or less a studio, records from ceiling to floor, equipment galore, turntables, keyboards. But there was one thing that caught my attention, a yellow knob that was at the middle of the DJ console, and it was hooked up to this bad boy right here that I'm about to show you. So let's go check it out right now. And this is it.
Hey.
The Korg, the digital delay, which is the SDD 1000. That's what you had. How many seconds of sampling time you had on that?
Of course, I'm not so sure if it was a second yet. It was like back in those days. It was like 1 second, I believe.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was like that was it. Right, at good quality. Later on, we had the Compute effect run.
Oh.
Which I still have actually in the cupboard. It's not working, but it still comes on. And that was the one that had like you could do a whole loop.
Bunch of things with it. That's crazy. So I met that. So then of course we talked a couple bits about some things and recording. You also had the 4-track machine, which I'm about to show you right about now, which looked a little something like this. Here we go. That's it?
Yep.
That's it right there?
That was one of them. Yep.
That was one, right? But that was the one we worked on. We worked on that one, right?
Yeah.
That was the Tascam Porter 1, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Porter 1. Porter 1 was a monster of a machine, all right? 4-track stuff. You see, use cassettes in there. Essay. Make sure it's essay. Says you have no stretching going on.
high quality at that time.
And then after that, now we ended up talking about recording a small demo, which you recorded 2 track. I think it was 2 tracks we did, right? We did about 2 tracks. We did, I can't remember, the first one was just a kind of brag rap thing. And the second one was a slow love rap. Right?
Slow love rap.
Yeah, chilling.
Oh, that.
Remember chilling?
You have that? You have that?
Let's take it chilling. Take it. You take it. A little bit. You could barely hear my voice. Now I'm about what? 17 years old in this, right? So this hey, you can barely hear my voice. Hey.
Here I am, thinking back in the past. How long our relationships I'm still last is how I met this girl. So quick as can be, and how I started this. Dated this week, was driving streets with a fashion break. When I saw the fine girl, maybe she was weird shape. I blew and she turned her head and to the young lady. This is
What I said.
baby, come over to the car. Give me your name, I wanna know who you are. Give me your number, address, and all. I might wanna see you from the car.
I play the keyboards and everything with us. Yeah, you know that?
I like how you look, so I can tell you when I'm moving. Go down all the blocks, then to your right, and if you're lucky, I see
Well, I would love to clean this up and read it.
to the right, so I see
I just want to take it to the chorus.
a piece of paper on the paper. It had no email address. He said, yo, I was
Chilling.
Oh, the unforgettable hook. The unforgettable hook.
Oh, wait, make me sweat with this way. All right.
Oh,
And the good thing about the two, this was the drum machine we used back. This is what we had, right? This is what Kurt and I had used. We used this. The Boss DR110. That's what we used to make the beat. All right? That was the beat maker. That was we killed that. We killed the living daylights out of that drum machine.
so did Kerr do this beat or was it
We did the beat together.
Romel? No.
Nah. Kurt and I did the beat together. We came after school and I was like, we tried different things and put together the beat and we're like, oh God, nice. We gotta go by Lyndon now. We gotta go by Lyndon. So that is how that went down. But of course, later on, look, I used to come by myself and watch you doing your 4-track mixes and stuff. And you did some mind-blowing shit, dog. With the likes of, I know back in the days, we were fascinated by people like the Latin Rascals.
Oh, yeah.
On radio, on foreign radio, on New York radio, and Mantronics with the manipulation of the beats, especially with them big hard pong maxi disco tunes, Sarah and Joyce Sims and that type of stuff, little breakdowns. Was that a key part of influencing you as well?
Definitely. I mean, listening to like Latin hip hop and listening to those guys chopping and cutting beats in and out. Back then, I didn't know what they were doing. I just know that I wanted to do something like that. So my version of it was just to do like samples of that. Right. And then I found out later on like what they were doing. But like before, my God, yes. Listening to Mantronics was like a god. Carlos Berrios, all these guys, like gods, like wow.
Yeah. And the thing with you is you were always ahead of the game in terms of drum machines, in terms of keyboards, in terms of tones, in terms of equipment.
Yeah, I was actually part of a previous group, like an actual band, right? So I used to hang out with musicians, like proper musicians. So I used to get to fiddle around real drum machines. Wow. So that's where the love really started, with just programming drum machines, like, and just knowing the different songs of different drum machines.
Yeah.
And like each drum machine used to be like a different way of programming, and then the newer ones came out, like when the Yamahas came out, they had a certain song. You would always, being a producer too, growing up in that time, or somebody came to the music, you would know what made that song, because that you could only get that song from that drum machine.
Right.
So like when you hear a song like Up This Year, you know, like shucks, that have to come from a Yamaha, blah blah blah, and because that's that tune.
Yeah.
And that was the fascination of just my hardware collecting hardware since sampling and stuff came later.
Right. And what I like too is when you formed the group XTC, that was yourself or you and other people?
It was like people in and out, but like XTC really was the original founders were myself, Lyndon, Irvin. I don't know if you know Lyndon Irvin. He went to QRC as well. Ray Rupnarayan. Who is not like Ray Rupnarayan.
Ray, right. Yes.
He's mixer producer extraordinaire, reggae producer. On and in with people like Jeffrey Joseph from Jeffrey, like he was like like founding member of XTC, but we used to do like little tapes or whatever. We used to do things together as XTC or as Jax. Jeffrey and XTC. So like I don't know, there's a lot of people that grew up, but basically it was me doing most of the editing. Most of the other guys would support us. So like when we do like an actual DJ group. Right. Because in those days I wasn't really into heavy DJing.
Well, I realized that you had the turntables, you had the skill because you did some scratches on some of my demos.
Yeah. I mean, I could scratch
that we're going to check out shortly.
It was it was more of like stage fright, going out there and doing.
Right.
Like, I could have done anything in the bedroom, like anything, because I'm in my bedroom.
Yeah. But once you're on that stage, people watching.
Once I'm on stage, I was like, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
At first, it was a couple other guys who used to come and DJ with us as part of XCC. And that was Lyndon was a good DJ. He was also like a break dancer. Ray was also a break dancer, and he was also a really good DJ. So then slowly started DJing as part of XTC. Yeah.
Right. Sweet stuff, man. Well, speaking of ecstasy.
Oh Lord.
There were many times I would just appear like on a Saturday and I would see your sister and thing, you know what I mean? She'll be like, yeah, you be back there going now, you know what I mean? And I'll just go on. And you mid-mix, mid-chopping up, mid-sampling up, doing your thing. And I remember walking in on some of these. Muse.
Could I ask what you were doing?
Mixing, just trying some new stuff. Break down.
Okay, everybody, give me a break.
Get past the people, get past the hitman.
Remember this.
Get busy, get past the people, get past the hitman.
She's an agent.
We've got a hot one for you.
Give me a break
Man. Yo, folks, this is pre-computer. I know computer going on here. This is straight 4-track, cassette, tape, and edits and chops.
Yep.
About 50-something records when he done stacked. Just pulling samples, bits and pieces.
Some of them are like 100 records.
Wow.
I have a couple of remixes we did later on for like Ian Goose program, which is like 100 plus records in under 5 minutes. Like easy.
I have that one.
Yeah, that one?
Come on, man. And I'll tell you what he said. I'm going to remind you what he said at the end of it, all right? Check this out. Check this out.
Let's party. Have a good time. Here we go.
Give it up, a little bit of the sauce. Take your car out of that gear.
Now, son, I know you're gonna dig this.
Right? Here it is.
Cut it up, Wiz. That's what I call cutting it close.
Pump up the volume. What time is it?
It's time to change.
That's right. Hold on. Let me play the end part. Let me play the end.
Man, you're crazy.
And at the end, you hear Goose was on the ball. All I can say about that is, wow.
I think I actually remember him saying that for kids on the radio.
Listen.
Like the thing about hearing your stuff on the radio a long time, man, I don't think people could really understand because now with like social media and stuff, you just launch your stuff and it out on YouTube.
Yeah.
But before, like the first time you hear your
shit playing on the radio, and the announcer like, "This is a brand new one coming out from."
Your heart is going.
What?
People are like, we say wow. Yeah, man.
I'm gonna play one for you that when it played on the radio, I was just going crazy. This is one we did together, right? Now, as I said, we did the 2-track demo, which was the first brag rap. I can't even remember what the name of the rap was. And then we did Chillin', right? Then, of course, I saw you do your XTC thing, chop up things, send things to the radio. You had your links with that. You introduced me to some of the people in the radio. And then we came together. And, of course, it introduced me to another integral part of my career, which was Robin Foster and the Engine Room. Salute to them. You know what I mean? As Lawrence Lidlow, Cedric Smart, Caddy Pantor, the entire squad in Engine Room. You know what I mean? That was like the second family right there. And they embraced you. And because of you, and because I, in the mix, they embraced me as well. You know what I mean? And we were allowed to go there overnight and record for free and all kind of things. I was nuts. So some of the stuff that resulted from that is where you went on this particular drum machine, which I'm going to show you right now.
Oh, man.
You roll on R8. Remember that one?
Yes, but I wish I could get R8 now.
Worry now?
Well, you have one?
No. R8. That was a wicked drum machine. That drum machine was epic. And you put together a beat, you know what I mean? And Kerr himself too, he had scratched a couple bits of pieces in this song, but like he wasn't, he didn't get the vibe to do the rest of it. And you took control and scratched the second verse. You go check it out now, right? And you threw your voice in there too.
But voice in there too?
Voice in there too.
What was this?
You ready?
Yeah, play.
This one's called Pay the Price from the Awesome Force.
Yo, Rex, what's up? Let's get stupid, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. I forgot about that.
Hey, your voice. You go in again.
Yo, Wax, what's up? Let's get stupid, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just pound the percussion.
Pound the percussion, man. R8, boy, R8.
Yo, Kerr. Yeah, Jay. Let's get stupid, man. Word. Bum rush the cut.
Get the production up.
The day you were born, you really thought you were gone. And the devil was inside you and he turned you on. See, you started from small, spraying graffiti on the wall. And later on in life, you took a very hard fall. It took a fool like you to run away from love. From your mama, your papa, and the man above. But you rather be idle. So hear my devil's title. And listen to my lyrics, cause you know it's your revival. That's right, because you know you're only wasting your time. Cold dealing with crack, the right? Thus you're only causing a crime every day, and you don't know how. Cause when you're sniffing the crack, you're gonna sound like word. It's whacking as a matter of fact. People smile at your face. Stab you in the back. You want to yell, you're in the self-precise. Never nice to do it twice. You gotta pay the price.
Pay the price.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm sweating. Cheers, man.
Completely.
Cheers.
Forget that song, man.
Cheers.
Oh, man.
No, with your radio link, remember, you told me like, hey, try and get this thing played on Chris Boynes, Saturday morning. So I'd call Chris Boynes. I just picked up the phone, went to the directory in them days, found DBC number, and called him. I said, well, hello, I'd like to speak to one Christopher Boynes, please. And they're like, yeah, sure, hold on. They thought it was business. I got on to Chris, spoke to him, humble. I said, I have a track, da-da-da-da. I'm an upcoming rapper, thing. Play it, you like it. If you don't like it, it's a cool thing. It's up to you. He was like, no problem, send it to me. I say, I'll have the cassette. He said, no, you have to send it to me on a reel-to-reel. So then I had to go by Robin Foster now, get transfer from cassette to reel-to-reel. I think Lawrence probably put it on for us. All right? I got it, sent it to Chris, and Saturday morning, that was primetime radio back in them days, around 10:30 in the morning, he blasts that. And the same point you're making when you hear a thing on the radio is like,
No. Oh man.
He went crazy.
It's nothing like that.
Crazy. So I want to know why it is you never embraced the radio side. I always wondered that because I know you had the links because I remember you were not introduced me to Johnny Song.
Yeah, but I mean, like as a DJ or as a like what? Be on the radio?
On the radio, just being on DJ because I know that's your thing.
I don't know. I think because I always thought that like I'm just not somebody who like to vocalize stuff.
Right,
like,
right.
It's not my thing. It's not my thing. I've always been somebody behind the scene just playing music. Like for years, people wouldn't have ever known that I was the DJ in the club down in Gulf City, or I was the DJ, the head DJ for Coconuts Video most of the entire.
People didn't know that you were the man.
No, people wouldn't know that, but that's fine. That's cool.
And that's what always intrigued me about you. You always like you make these monstrous moves, monstrous strides within the industry, and nobody knows that it's you.
That's cool. Because I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm doing it for me. Like when I make one move on transition from something from one to the next, it's because I want to do that, and I'm not gonna do something halfway. Like I always compare myself to whatever is the top of whatever at that time, right? So if you want to do rap, like you know who you have to compare yourself to, right? Like and you have to be better than or equal to.
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Same thing. Like, as a DJ, at that time, I wanted to do every trick that Jeff could have done.
Right.
Practicing until I could do it. Right?
Yeah.
And that's it, right? So as somebody on radio though, like I know I couldn't speak like those guys who I emulated. Like who people at that time, and like it was people with golden voices, the Frankie Cockers, just those kind of guys who had that kind of voice.
Yeah.
And also then later on came like you had to be a little hype and a little cutting edge, which I really don't consider myself really to be. Like no, like I am me. Like I've always just been me. Like full stop. Like I'm cool with just being that dude in the back in the club, just having fun, entertaining you. Like that's cool.
That's nuts, bro. That's nuts. That is nuts. So after XTC there was another DJ, not collective, but DJ group or name that you formed. That was Silk.
Silk was myself, the late man. Just thought about this guy and just said, wow, boy. Camps, boy.
Cops?
Sean Camps.
Sean. Salute to Sean Camps.
Yeah,
boy. Rest in peace, Sean Camps. I talked about him in a previous episode when we did the other side of midnight on 9.5.
No, Sean would have been like Sean was like one of those DJs, like just DJs. Like Sean was everywhere, playing everywhere, and he had like personality, right? So Sean was the sweet boy in the group,
right?
Right. He wasn't the best DJ in the group. Like he was a good DJ, but like he was a real talk and spokesman, like the lady.
Yes.
Sean was that guy. Sean Brian Morris.
Brian Morris. Serious.
People understand that Brian Morris was one bad DJ.
Destra Brian Morris you talking about?
Destra. Yes. Destra Jaivan.
Right. I didn't want to see that, but
hey, it's me, man.
Brian. So he was a DJ, was cutting and thing.
Yeah, man. Brian was cool. Like,
wow.
The second soca set ever. He was the soca man. I was like, we were DJing, like, hey, Brian, play soca. What? style.
Wow.
I
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Ray was there too?
Ray was part of that too. Also part of that was Sean Poland.
Sean Poland. Sean boy.
The engineer like so many like great.
So you see, these are the type of people you introduce me to, because
but that was our crew, man. That was our crew. Everybody who actually blew up, like everybody who was good and their forte was good at what they did, and then eventually, everybody just like
did their own thing, yeah. Because Sean linked me with CSB, with Caribbean Sound Basin.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That's what gave me the link to actually launch the actual studio in front of the then Prime Minister A.N.R. Robinson. It was me, Ajala, Sterling Gittins.
Right.
We launched. We were the people. We were the performers. We were the first artists of CSB. You know what I'm saying? And crazy stuff. You know what I mean? It's amazing. So, as we talk in silk.
Oh, Lord.
You know me, I hot things. You know what I mean?
It started in a recording studio on a backwater planet at the obscure fringes of a minor arm of the galaxy.
Are you ready to do things that you never possible?
Right about now, you're about to witness, yes, the sounds of DJ Silk.
All right. You gonna dig this?
My God.
Here's the thing about a mix like that. Like that, you have to remember when that was done.
1989.
Well,
1989.
Somewhere around that time, like somewhere pre everything.
Pre-everything.
Pre-doing computers. That was just 4 tracks. It was like mono, like everything.
Analog.
Mono.
Yeah.
Right. Analog, tape, pissing, everything. If you listen what I was actually doing back then, like I was breaking up songs into little 16ths of a beat and chopping them, placing them.
In nowadays lingo, producer lingo, you were doing chops. You were chopping records. Like right now, people put a record inside a studio or it is, and they chop it up. Chop. And you put it on the MPC and you play your chops. You were doing that manually on analog. On analog before it became popular. Before it even existed.
Yeah.
Does he blow my part? That always used to freak me out with you. I'm like, this man, he ain't realizing what he's doing.
No, my thing is like, to me, I could hear it. Like, most of the time I wouldn't know what I'm going to do, but once I start, I will and in my mind I hear in the edit. Like I'm hearing the edit, so I know what people will be in the box and know like, what are you doing? Because they're not hearing the pieces, can't see the full picture, and slowly over time. But I know like it's easy for me to do. Take one slide, go bap in my mind, go back the tape, and go go back and over because I know what I wanted to build, right?
Right. And you're building it step by step by winding.
Step by step. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Back forward, there's nothing. I don't really think like a normal person.
All right. So being that you were one that more or less being a part of the era where we ushered in the new technology, right?
Definitely.
How do you feel now?
What's going on?
What's going on in terms of it's so much easier to do them types of chops and stuff now. A lot of people don't even do it.
Yeah.
They don't even do it.
I can understand. Like I'm never gonna say against new technology because that's how I do everything now anyway. Right. But people don't understand the power that they have. Also too, because it's so simple to do now, right? People don't think about what they do. Right. Like, and also people don't learn the gear or don't learn the software properly. Yeah. They just so that leads to a whole bunch of different things, like a lack of arrangement, lack of thoughtfulness in song, like a lack of groove, lack of feeling, like a lack of all these things, which you can actually get if you paid a little more attention to what you were doing.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you're doing it on, if you're doing it like people don't understand how simple it was to do, how simple you have it now.
Yes.
Because now you just do a simple thing like you just repeat a phrase. Like I remember, I think I was the first person or one of the first 3 people to actually touch a digital editing system, like when it came out.
That's what Robin Foster in Engine Room.
Robin Foster, right? Robin Foster.
Did you design?
Right.
Yeah.
That time was sound designer.
Sound designer, yeah.
Sound designer. That was before Avid.
Right.
It was before Pro Tools, before those things.
Yeah.
So, and he was one of the first people like in the world to have his hands on a system, because it was a job we were doing for the BBC about, I think it was Lord Kitchener.
Right.
So he had this massive task of editing of tons of equipment. So it couldn't be done with tapes. We got actual budget to actually do this thing. So I could understand what it's like from back then, taking a loop, throwing it into the computer, and pasting it, and then saying, okay, going up for lunch. Because the computing power, all it was a lot easier to do on reels. The computing power it would take to do something would take so long, even just to duplicate this set of bars. You could go out for lunch and come back, like half an hour and come back. It was super slow. So now, when you see something being done in a flash.
Yeah. You're
not thinking about it. You're also not thinking about, you could just undo. Back then, like there was less room, less time to make mistakes. You're trying to get stuff done in one take properly, even though it was a digital era. Like there's a lot of things that we take for granted now. A lot. Right. So yes, I like the new stuff. I just wish people would pay attention to what they do. It don't matter what you do it on, but like put your heart and your soul into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, when I made the transition from MC, from rapper, from MC to DJ, which was a crazy transition for me because I never really wanted to become a DJ, but I became a DJ by force. And that's when I joined Downtown Outlaws with Mario Russell. And we were doing radio at the side of midnight on 95.1. And there were certain nights where either Ishmael and Mario didn't want to go on the radio, so he stepped back and gave us the reins to run with that. Who else was there? A couple other people out used to DJ too. They're like, they ain't coming. So there would be certain nights where I'm there alone. So I had to DJ by force. So I ended up buying my first pair of 1200s from Frontline Sounds. That's big up to Ian and rest in peace Yeti. I bought it was the greatest deal ever. I got a pair of Technics 1200s, Newmark mixer, with heads, with mats, Stanton needles, all for $2,400. TT, right? That was a steal of a deal. I was like, yeah, I want it. I went down in Pretty Valley by them, tested out, thing, carried that home. I started doing my thing. And then I started, I couldn't afford the Porter one. So let me show you what it is I bought. I ended up buying this bad boy here, which was the Fostex X26.
I had one of those too.
You had that too?
I had that, but I can give you a story about that. This was one of the first players I got as like a 4-track.
Yeah.
Brand new. Got it home. And just, when you're really anxious, and then you're like, bam, 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 and plugged it in. And I don't know how I did this, but somehow the voltage was wrong.
Oh,
and I just watched. First time I turned on the power, all the lights just went, wow! That was it.
So you never got to use it?
Never got to use it. I had it for like a couple of seconds.
Wow.
Never got to use it, blow it. Like it up. Like a Christmas tree. Like a Christmas tree. And back then, that was a big deal, man.
Yeah, you had your 4-track, you could do things.
4-track, you just blow up a 4-track.
Do things. And then now, on top of that too, I ended up buying a drum machine, which was a second-hand drum machine that I got from, first off, rest in peace, Shell Shock, Sheldon Benjamin. Back then he was called Dr. Beat, who was part of Awesome Force at one point, right? He was using this particular drum machine.
That was like a real link between us, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's the connection. That's the connection. Right. And then after Shock used it, it went over to Ken Holder. Salute to Ken Holder as well. All right.
Yeah.
Part of Rock Crush Crew. I used to rap with them too. All right. Rock Crush Crew, salute. Rest in peace, DJ Andy, Rockmaster. One of the baddest DJs in Toronto. I'm going to give a story about that after I show you my drum machine I had from them days. All right. But this was the drum machine here that I had from them. I ended up getting that bad boy, the Kawai R50E. Right? That used to give him little tones and a little thing. And that more or less made my rap career where it was. Doing the demos, producing the stuff, going engine room, putting it on the radio. I remember when Stanley Augustus got me, big up to Stanley Augustus, he got me the gig to perform on the Naughty by Nature show, the Naughty by Nature Queen Latifah Crystal Waters show. I perform, all that. But back to Andy, Rockmaster. When Jazzy Jeff came out with the Transform, right? Or I should have said not came out, when he popularized the Transform Scratch, right? There was a particular mixer back in the day. It wasn't even invented as yet. This feature was invented years after, right? Andy did this. So Andy used to go through he used to have either GLI, I think it was a GLI mixer he used to use, right? And the GLI had these on and off switches. Yeah, switches, kind of like a stick. I had a GLI 9000. Right. So he used to transform with that. But what would happen is the stick would break after a while from all the on and offs. See, stick it back, he solder it back, he do it, he couldn't get it done. So what he did was he drilled a hole on the side of the mixer and run the channel to that. And with a kind of a flat push button with a spring. And he would tap that and it would turn the signal on and off. And that's how he made his transfer. So he used to scratch with his elbow. He transformed. Years later, Stanton. Remember Stanton started this when I was with Downtown Outlaws now. This would be like 1991. Stanton, I met Andy in 88. Yeah, 88. 87, 88. Stanton brought out this mixer with the transform button on it. With the same technology, the same button, push up and down, but it was on the top of the mixer, not the side, with the same feature where you could, I'm like, Andy, woo! I have some tapes and I'm saving them recordings for when I talk to Ken Holder. Right. No. I was thinking of playing them today, but now I have to hear that. I have a recording of myself rapping. Guys, to just go after school and line with Andy, and we would go in the gallery. He'd bring on the turntables in the gallery, a big speaker, the cassette machine, stack of records, and he'll hand me the mic, and he would just start cutting, and I would start rapping for hours. And we recorded one of these sessions, a 45-minute session, just going crazy, and this guy cutting up nuts. So rest in peace, Andy. Salute, my brother. The baddest, one of the baddest to touch Trinidad and Tobago ever. I don't understand how bad Andy is. Ever. You know what I wanted to ask you? And I want to go back to the same Kurt story. What did this Kurt told you about me when I came to meet you?
You know, I can't remember, but I remember though, the first time I heard you, I was like, this boy bad. He sounded like that boy, man. He sounded bad. He sounded he's our version.
You could say it.
It's true. I was like, no, like you. To me, I hadn't heard any local person with that speed and that was that articulate.
Right.
Understand what you were saying. Like, a lot of people was going to, but couldn't understand what the hell they were saying, right?
Right.
And I was like, yo, this man, I can understand everything this man's saying, and you have attitude and stuff. And those days, you had a little swag.
Yeah, I was super swag in them days.
Super swag.
Super swag. Too much.
Oh,
Too much.
But no, I just, I used to like working with people who actually have talent.
Right.
Talent. Yeah.
Good stuff. Salute, my brother. Salute. Mm-hmm. I know we fast forward. Do you remember the time when we had this big debate? Now, when I became everything I do, I'm a purist with it.
I know where it's going. The debate you lost, by the way. You lost terribly.
Yeah, bad. Now, anything I touch, I'm always a purist with it. If I'm spitting hard rhymes. You know what I mean? You gotta write your own rhymes. You ain't biting from nobody, you ain't copying nobody's style, nothing like that. Boom. I became a DJ. I started doing my thing, cutting my own thing, turntables, thing. The turntables must be sideways, you know, them kind of shit. Then ushered in the push button DJ era when it became CDs, right?
Yeah.
And you bought the CDJs. That was the first CDJs, right? So you bought the CDJs, and them days you're living in Woodbrook, and you say in Newtown, by Cipriani Boulevard there.
Boulevard, yeah.
Right. And you say, come and see the CDJs and thing. You're doing it exactly like the 12s. I said, no, brother, I ain't not saying that thing, because I was still getting my records. I reached by you.
Just note, but I'll be saying this a lot just now. Go ahead.
I watch your thing. I say, well, boy, yeah. I say,
this man watch me cut the He watched me do all that about because it was so much easier to do that on record, like stores that I was like, you could really get on, right? Like, but
I fight it down. I said, nah, I want to feel this is the thing, 1200s vinyl, the feel of vinyl, ting. All right, boom. Then came the Denons, the push button thing. I was like, so how to put everything on the CD and thing and Denon. And I go, God. And then after that, now, I gave Franco this story. I call you up. I went New York. Found out about this thing called Serato. Reach back to Trinidad. I see, STONEZ. I come by you. Ting, they have this new thing. I reach by you in a hurry. Ting, they have this new thing. Serato. I could take the box. I ain't had to buy no CD because I was on the verge of buying a CDJ on the verge. I said, I ain't had to buy no CDJ. I'll hook this box up to my turntables. Ting. Serato. And you were like, you mean this box here?
People don't understand. Like, yeah, I mean, that's my joy. I love being like the first of everything in this country.
How the fuck you get at first? How?
Because it was just, man, this is what happened. I went up to New York, the Javits Center, AES, that year, and there was when they were actually launching Serato. That was one of the places that had Serato. And when I see what Serato could do, you don't have to talk to me twice.
Right.
I know that is what it's going to be. Full stop. Right? So every day I keep asking that, send me that now. Demo, eh? Send me
demo.
And he's like, man, because sell this produce. I said, every single day. I going back 3 days. I went back to 3 days. I'm like,
sell it to me.
Come on. He's like, okay, here we go. Check me back on the other day. So. Give it a demo unit. Yes. I take the unit and that was it.
So that was a demo unit you got?
Demo unit I got. Like I was one of the first people to have.
You were the first, not one of the. You were the first.
I mean, like the first people to have it full stop.
Yeah.
Definitely the first person in this country to have it.
Yeah. Because as I told people, you were the first to have it. And I was the first to use it in a public performance.
Yeah, because
I took my turntables to Beach House, had the box, had a Vio laptop, and I rocked our place hard. And that was the first time people saw turntables in action in about 10 years. Right? Because everything was push button Denons, and you know what I mean? You would have barely see a CDJ in a party. Right? It was more, everybody was push button walking with a little pouch full of CDs. And I brought the turntable game back in. I remember in that party, like long time, when you're playing in a party, people used to crawl around the DJ and watching. And for most of the beach house, that particular beach house party, they were around me watching. You know what I mean? And I always credited you with that. And I was like, people say, Chase, I'm not the first. I was the first to use it in a public performance, but you were the first to have the fucking thing in your possession before it launched. Here.
That's right.
That's crazy. Anyway, going after that now, because I still going down hard with my turntable. I said, right, turntables are back. I need no CD to ask with that. Everybody can rock so. This motherfucker here will come and tell me, Jase boy, the controller boy, controller. That's the way of the future. Ting. I'm like, man, give me a chance, please. And we sat down somewhere and you recorded me. You still have recorded?
Huh?
You still have that recorded?
I think I have it on my old Motorola phone somewhere in that. In fact, I think I sent it to Ramol. So I think he has that recorded.
Big up to Ramol, Rasilo Studios.
So yeah.
Yo, I went down. I was like, controller? Nah. That ain't happening. Ting.
Yeah.
And then my brother saw me.
These are the things. There are a few things that I really take delight in. This was actually one of those moments. You know? And I watched it, I was like, look at him, mother. Look at him. And he's smiling with his controller too. Look at him.
That was it. I'm fucking up the place too.
Exactly. Look at him. Yeah.
Wow.
No, but you know, it's good though that when you could actually see where something could take you.
Yeah.
And you don't fight it to the end. You'll be like, yeah, this really could, this is a game changer. You could do this. But don't worry, I have a couple other things to turn you on to.
Oh Lord, here we go again.
Resistance still, but trust me, it's coming, man. It's coming.
Here we go again. Let's talk about the music genres now, because I know back then we were more hip hop heads, dancehall heads, funk, disco, that type of thing. We did play house, you know what I mean? We were house men. I was a house man.
I was a real house at long time.
I used to sneak in little house tracks when I was on 19.9. Me, Franco, Curtis Popplewell. We used to play little house tracks in the music. What is this? Music Factory, Masters at Work, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Armin Van Helden, that kind of thing, and try and sneak it in there. But I remember when the actual genre became even more popular, more mainstream. I know you were still on the underground house scene, right? Was that an easy transition, or was it a mandatory transition for you to exit everything and go more dance and house in your selections? I
think as the music changed, right, I kind of just changed with it because I was a real hip hop head and a real dancehall freak. like I love dancehall, and love hip hop. That was and then house came later on. But house, I try to gravitate towards house because of the production. Like house had like more sampling going on, had like just take more chances. Like there was a lot more production intensive recordings, I thought. Like hip hop was simple, a couple pop, right? Dancehall was simple too, but house, you hear all these things going down, and I wanted to find out like how to make all that stuff, which led to me actually playing it a lot more, because then I could understand like, wow, that took a lot of work to do. I want to learn, and I would pay respect to just play more house. Plus the music changed, like all this stuff changed from being stuff I could relate to being stuff I didn't want to play again. Right. As the style changed, like I was like, yeah, I can understand why it works. I can understand it, but it's just not my cup of tea. So like, yo, let's play the happy, loving music. And then traveling. Like when I started to travel, I realized like this is the music of the world. Like it's house music. You go house, you go anywhere else, and you would hear. You might not, but you'll hear a lot of hip hop now because hip hop took over as being like the number one genre. But before that, as prior to that, it was like house everywhere. It was real house music, and then Ibiza, one pilgrimage to Ibiza, and it was all over. That was it. You were sold. What year that was? What year that was? Ooh, wow, that was the year the Iraq War started. Ooh. It was I was one of those people. What year was that?
We'll do some fact checking, folks. You know, we gotta be sure about what we're talking about here. You know what I mean? So we're doing some fact checking one time.
Well, that was about.
How are you looking?
That was 2003.
2003. You're absolutely right. You know why? I remember same thing on my end. At the time I was working on Ebony 104, and I did a gig with I was a judge for the Green Synergy DJ competition, regional competition, right? The Heineken Green Synergy competition. And we ended up in Jamaica, and I was hanging out with a dude called PJ Butter. That's my dog from Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
And he was the one that showed me and Scratchmaster, salute to Scratchmaster, that the game is changing.
Yeah.
It's going straight dance. It's going straight. The EDM sound was now about to rear its head for the public. So at that point, we collected libraries, we exchanged libraries, and started building from there. And if you would notice, on a Saturday when I used to be on, I used to do something called the left turn, where I would do like about a 40 minutes of straight house, dance, EDM.
I mean, you were one of the first people would actually do that.
Yeah.
On radio.
On radio, on air.
On radio.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I saw it coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you know we're in my ear too, as well as, jeez, the music now, ting. And I'm like, you know what, this man making sense. Let me see what's going on and do it. And then lo and behold, I get a call from my boy, use the EDM man now.
Because you were the EDM man. Like I listening to the radio, I remember like Jus Jase. What? And like, you know, like 15 minutes going on, I said, what's going on with JS, man? What JS swallow, man? Like what? Like JS rocking. And like the thing though is you put your spin on it. So you would find the mixes that were like, you know, still a little hip hop, a little these things.
Yes.
Which I like. Like, you play stuff that I wouldn't play, like, and I wouldn't find. I was like,
right. And that was the next beautiful thing to it. I like when DJs like you and myself will call each other, be like, hey, what's that you know play there? Tick. We get that. Hey, you know, play something. Send it for me. Hey, you have this? No. Yeah. That's one thing I liked about you and I used to do that a lot. And Brian Regis and myself used to do that a lot too on the hip hop side. You know what I mean? Because we used to get all this stuff, new, exclusive shit. And, you know, networking in that vein. So, my brother, I humbly say, thank you for showing me the ropes. Thank you for showing me what direction to go in from ever since. You know what I mean? And that's why I say you played an integral role. And I have to salute you, boy, Lyndon. I have to salute you. Because from day one, when I met you back in 1980, wherever it is, 87 or 88, you embraced me. You know what I mean? You welcomed me into your zone and showed me different directions as to where music was headed, both here in Trinidad and Tobago and internationally, and show me the technological side as well in terms of what gear to get, what gear to use, what gear was coming out, what plugins, what software. And so I'll always be grateful for that, my brother. Salute. You know what I mean? All right, we're almost wrapping up. I want to talk about the now phase in terms of these young ones that we are trying to mold. A lot of folks think that when they buy new gear, they automatically become a producer. Or because you make beats, that makes you a producer. Or you do two little things to a song, is a road mix. When you see Trinidad Tobago Carnival come out and the soca releases come out, you have 10,000 road mixes, and the majority of them not where it's supposed to be.
No.
What's your take on that?
Yeah, to me, because first of all, like, why are you doing the mix? Like, why are you doing the mix? Like, that's what you always have to ask yourself. Like, even at the top of people asking me to remix stuff, like tons of people calling me, I would definitely say no to about 80% of them.
Wow.
Like 80%, I'm telling you. Like, that's why I would normally only do, at the top, I would only do like 5-6.
For the season.
Yeah. Because those are the songs I want to touch. Like, those are the songs I could do something with. Mostly, sometimes I would start other songs, like people ask me, and I'm like, yeah, I could try this. And then I would realize this song doesn't need a mix. Or this song could do a mix of a little part, it needs an edit. Like, it doesn't really need a full remix. Why are you remixing the whole song? Right? So, and I'm also kind of really careful how I treat other producers' stuff. Like,
right.
To me, people like the song. They like the song, right? They already like the song.
Yeah.
Don't screw it up.
Right.
If your road mix automatically isn't the mix that everybody's playing, like once it's distributed and everything and it's out there, and that doesn't become like the staple song,
the go-to version of the song.
Version of the song.
Yeah.
Then you have not, to me, then you have not done your job. Like, you just haven't done your job.
Right.
And that is what, now these days, I mean, people don't really need, I would argue as today that you really don't need a road mix again, because the dynamic is different. Yeah, I would say that actually. I say that personally, I think the day of the road mix is over because the DJs have changed. Right. Like, it's over.
Hold up. That's another mic drop moment we have, ladies and gentlemen. It's another mic drop moment. I need a bump for that. Let linger. Can you please repeat that, my brother?
I personally believe that the day of the official road mix is over because of how DJs format music now for the road. When we go back on the road, hopefully, right? But it's different. Long time a song, you would find pleasure in repeating a song, going to this part of the song. That's the stuff that was introduced in the road mix, like a different version. When was the last time you heard more than half of any road mix on the road? Like any. Like, you don't hear the mix. Like, you don't hear the mix. So what's the sense of the road mix if you're not playing the extended parts?
You're only playing 10 seconds of a song and cutting it.
Right. Yeah, what's the sense if you're just going to play the same length of the song? Just play the original song. Let the artists get their cut. And that's it. So it's fine.
Wow.
It's true. I mean, that's why every time I do a road mix, there must be a different element to it. Like, I'm not going to screw up your song.
Right.
There must be something different in this song. Like every single song. There will never be a time when I don't introduce something that wasn't in the song.
In the song, right.
Ever. Right?
Yeah.
It won't happen. Which means that's the purpose of the mix. Otherwise, just do a little edit of the original and say God is love, and yeah.
Wow. You blow my mind with that one, boy. The day of the remix is over.
It's over.
The days of the road mix is over. That's crazy. All right.
That, unless there comes a time where DJs change the way that they play, right? And also where masqueraders are now sensitized again to the fact that that's different.
Right.
So before, like, because today masqueraders don't care. Like, just listening to like 2 minutes of a song or a minute and a half of a song, you just want to hype out and
right.
And you're good anyway. Like, you're not taking the time to teach people, hey, and don't talk through it, but like, teach people what's going on, set up, let the music breathe and speak. Like, the reason why we put this part in the song was not for you to talk over it. Right?
We could go on another tangent here, we could go on another tangent.
I've stopped that battle like years ago because I realized you have to educate people first for them to understand what it is they lost, and then they can appreciate what they lost, blah, 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 blah. But
now, it's not an age thing. But I understand that we meaning people of our ilk, and of course the cloth we're cut from, the way we were taught how to DJ, right? How to present a work of art, an audio work of art in a public arena, where we let the music breathe. Yeah, you talk and introduce whoever it is, but you let your talk be an introduction to what is about to be played.
Correct.
Right? Are you disappointed, for want of a better word? I'm thinking of another word, but I'll use disappointed for now, in the way in which the current generation, the millennials, DJ and execute audio works of art?
Definitely. I think I have to be because I'm a audio enthusiast. Like, I like songs. So like when I go to a party and you play Shook Ones, man, I want to hear more than just the first verse of Shook Ones.
Right.
Like I want to hear that second verse when he starts with, like, I need to hear some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the mere fact that we just doing things for just shock factor these days, bam, 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 bam. Nah, that's not skill. Like, that's not skill. Like, to me, I used to tell people, I used to show people this all the time. Like, I used to bring people, like, to fascinate them. I used to bring them in the club and say, check this out, right? There's a stand up right next to me.
Right.
And I say, you want to see something? Watch, I'm going to make them bored. Like, just playing music, you know, I just say, bam. I say, right, anybody could do this, right?
And without even talking.
Without talking, we're never really talking nuts. It's special nights, but the majority of the time was no sort of talking.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, you know that if you play this song, this part of the song, this time, this set it up right, it will create this reaction. You know this. You're a DJ, right?
Yeah.
That's simple. That's the easy part of DJ. If you do that consecutively, that's no skill. That's no skill. That's the disappointing thing. Like, what people do today takes no skill. It's easy to do that. It's easy to do that.
Yeah.
Do what I used to do. I would always introduce like a whole bunch of new music all the time, like until people realize that I know this song before. Like until it becomes the hit. We break music.
Yeah.
Right? We used to break songs.
Yeah.
Nobody breaks music at all
anymore.
anymore.
It's
ever.
so true. It's so true.
The thing
so
that you don't even want to do it in a party is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
because they don't want to take risks. I remember I used to take risks. I remember in same beach house, I was the one that introduced the house set in beach house. I remember telling Franco King International a couple of them, like, yo, as soon as I set up this, I had some tracks that I got from same PJ Butter, right? Big up to PJ. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to introduce this party crowd to this type of music once I set up the playwright. And I'm going down, and I realized, Jace, you have them when you want them. Bring it now. And I did it. And by the time I played the first song, Franco was in the crowd. Franco watched me like. And when you see the reaction of the crowd, people didn't know what the fuck they were jumping up to. But they were like, the other man's with giving people tequila shots with a whistle. And he was doing like Terry Crews in White Chicks. Beep, 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 beep. It was nuts. You know what I mean? But that's the risk. I said I had to do it because I want to introduce people to this new sound. You know what I mean? And you're right. And these DJs now, they don't take risks. They don't take risks. They take the safe zone. Let me play the 25-cent tune. And on top of that, you're chopping up. 10 seconds a piece. Talk.
I mean, I always tell people these days, like, I can make anybody a DJ. Like, it's simple. Like, if that's the formula, I can take anybody off the street and make them a DJ.
Make it right.
XYZ, watch that, watch the 2 lines, do that, and here's all the songs that everybody play them. That's it. And that's simple. It costs nothing these days, fam.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot of skill. So, yeah. Paris Hilton's a DJ.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Right? So, come on.
Where you see, since you're such a visionary in terms of the art form, where do you see DJing and the art form of DJing in its current state, technologically wise? Let me say 5 years from now. Where do you think it's gonna head?
5 years, technology will be that far ahead yet, but I mean, eventually, as computers get faster, it will be about where your media is, like what you're playing it on. Like, everything will be like cloud-based. Everything will be, maybe attached to you in some form. You work with your personal playlist. You are your personal playlist, right? And nobody can copy your playlist. You attach to some unit that will be able to read this. You say all your commands. You do everything. Like, because now I am like totally into AI now, because most of the software I use.
Artificial intelligence, for those who want to know what it is. Right?
Right. But I totally into AI, and as you see what's coming out now in AI, like there's stuff that breaking down tracks for you in real time.
Right.
So now it gives you automatic stems when you're playing. And all of those things are like, as computers get faster and faster, that's the route of things that we're going to. So allow a DJ who wants to be a lot more creative to be creative. Because it's too easy to be everybody now have the access to same software, same music. Like it's simple to get all those things.
Right.
What will make it different is yourself, like how you put your spin on it. So if you find this song, you'll be able to take out the beat from this song, take out the this from the song, change the key of this song, but you'll be able to do all that stuff in real time. You know, loop all this kind of stuff. You're doing all of that in real time, going on the road, cloud-based, or you know, embodied in here somewhere or something. A DJ will be like like a diva, as he is known. They're gonna come up with a whole bunch of what's the word? Like superstars, like everybody become will be individuals.
Yeah.
Right? And like brands.
Right.
If you could get to that point where you are so good, you're so great, and you're so creative, right? You carve out your own niche, your song, that song becomes a hit, it comes like everybody will be an artist. Right? A DJ will be like Amik or whatever, that's it. Because when you come to hear this DJ, you only hearing this style from this DJ because it's like a living work of art he is playing. His beats is everything. He can transform everything has been done on him or on part of him. Yeah, that's where I think
that's where you think it's good.
I think it's good. I think I might not be here for that, but yeah, I'm going there.
I ain't doubting you. I will never doubt you ever again.
Going there.
Hey, listen, I had a blast with this, man. This was fantastic. Lyndon Livingston, salute, my brother. Salute. You know what I mean? This is what this podcast is all about. It's all about, you know what I mean, paying homage to the dudes who paved the way from inception. Yourself, as you said, from just a couple of years old, doing your thing by Rhinos Records. And now look where you at. You're doing all these wonderful productions. You're doing radio over regionally in Barbados with Slam. Big up the Slam 101 FM in Barbados with the Razorshop live sessions. Check that out. That's on a Sunday. Sunday nights. Yeah. Check him out. It's fantastic. And man, I just want to wish you all the best. And I want to say genuinely thank you. Thank you for showing me the ropes and of course giving me the opportunity to learn from you. And I'm here to tell the story too. You know what I mean?
Man, thank you for, everything is about coloring, right? Like, you surround yourself with a whole bunch of people. They're like, their colors influence what you do. Like, there's a lot of things that you sang on a couple of things that I did, and you're like, you trail rap on a couple of productions.
Yes.
You, Primo Sparks, Hollow, those kind of things.
Big up
people
Sparks.
We work with along the way that make you who you are. So, yeah.
That's what it is, people. All right. So this has been the mic drop sessions. One last thing. You're done. I have my drink food. My scotch is on there too. That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to be a part of the action. Of course, this has been your mic drop sessions. Yours truly, Jus Jase in the building. Salute to Razorshop one more time. You know what I mean? Check me out on my YouTube page. Of course, we're talking Jus Jase 868. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share, follow, spread the word, hit that bell for notification for, of course, upcoming episodes. And we'll see you next time for another edition. I'm Jus Jase. Salute.
Ladies and gentlemen,
are you ready for start time?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
Jus Jase
in the house tonight, and they just got back from World Tour, and I think they got something they want to say.